Once you get turned around, it's ugly. It's ugly. And imagine those back shots coming from Broly. Following up on combo chains, pushing your combos a little bit further than how you did before, right? A lot of people is just going to mash it out, press square, hopefully that carries them where they want to go, right? But there's more to the combo system. Once you see them knock off like that, you see that little knockoff right there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, knockoff, right? After that, most people is going to continuously keep pressing square. They're going to do this. 5, then the character is going to teleport behind. You go into the whole shenanigans. That's just a universal move from every single character. But let's say you're comfortable enough and you want to increase your combo strings. How are you going to increase your combo strings, your damage output, and your potential for rushing down your opponent and putting them in a tougher spot for mix-up potential? How do you do that? You're going to do the same thing, but then change the end portion, which is this right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see that? Each character's knockoff is probably going to be a little bit different. So just look at the last part of the hit that creates this type of spacing. You guys feel me? We're following? Now, all you do is do that again. And then since you did that the first time, we're now going to follow up with X. Okay? X is now how we're going to follow up. Let me just reset this and just kind of jump up in here and actually get into it. So now that you did that, we're going to follow up with X. Remember, this is how it looks regularly. Knockoff, that's after 5 hits. Now we're going to do the same thing again. And you dashed in. That right there doesn't look like much, but it is a combo extender. So how do you know it's a real combo extender? Look at the hit count. 5, those are guaranteed 5s. Those are real combo extenders. You have to find a certain type of window to actually escape that combo hit. Now, if you want to continue, here we go. Combos. Now, very important. If you're hitting somebody from the front, you can block it. You give them an opportunity to block it rather than following up on a different combo, which is going to be the basic bread and butter that you usually go with. But there's more to this. See, let's say you get comfortable with your character. Once you put them in that 50-50 position, after you knock them off, you now do this. You can go with an overhead. You can go with a low. It depends on how you force them to block in that sequence. It is a quick sequence for them to actually be able to block on how you're going to be able to mix them up. That's how you're going to be able to mix them up right there. Now, you can change this up even more, right? So let's say you're very comfortable. You can start doing this. Most of the time when you dash in, your opponent's going to immediately block or they're going to counter you. Depending on how good you are at reading your opponent, once you get comfortable with it, you now do this. Once you dash in, you now go to the side, right? And then once they're already in the counter state, that is a full punish because now you're on the side of them, okay? You're on the side of them. Or you can do this. Come in with a heavy hit to where you can follow up. But if you know you're going to come in with the heavy hit, just hold it for charge. That actually goes into a heavier, stronger, lasting hit that kind of break the guard. And then since I'm a character like Broly with an unblockable grab, I'm then going to go into this type of setup right here, right? Now, something very important is canceling your strings early. Very important. Cancel your strings early. What does that mean? Mix up your strings. Because while you're fighting, they're going to be trying to hit you with an up square, which is going to be called the super counter. You know, if you're taking nothing but back shots, pause, and wherever, if you're getting hit from the side or whatever, you're going to be doing up square trying to get out your super counter. But how do you mess up the timing of their super counter? How do you mess it up? Well, I got the answer for you. When you're doing your hits, change it around. You change the timing. A lot of players don't notice, especially the newer players. One of the newer players, the people who are new to Sparking Zero, new to this, your first type of Dragon Ball Z game, this is what's going to be happening right here. If you just press square, you're just gonna get that. But there's another level you could go. You could go square, triangle, right? You can go double square, triangle, which is then gonna turn them the opposite way for you to give them mean back shots. And imagine those back shots coming from Broly. Not a good time. Then you can go more. 1, 2, 3, right there. That's a push off. And then you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a blast. Okay, just so you guys can understand the mix-ups in between that. Now, you want to do quick sparking moves, not sparking itself, but quick sparking flashy moves. Meaning you want to go in when you get your opponent, if you're behind them, you want to go into quick launchers. Get them off the ground, kind of go into full mix-ups, and just kind of like demolish them. The thing is, why you want to do that, did you see how long Vegeta was face planted in the ground? What happens here is that it's this. It's a hard knockdown, which gives you the opportunity to do whatever you want on a hard knockdown because they're stuck there. And when they're stuck there, you can do whatever you want to do with them. That doesn't sound right coming from Broly. Just whole no Diddy pause throughout this whole thing. It's just the references that we use. You feel me? Now, since we got all that together and you want to go in, you're probably thinking, well, Rio, I'm a man of culture. How are you a man of culture? I Dragon Dash. Homing, right? You shouldn't be approaching like that. This part is how I'm going to teach you how to approach people. The only way to approach people is that this is always going to be one of your main gimmicks, one of your main things. You really only do that once you kind of like are even plateau with the character. Like you and that person is on the same level, and you can only get away with it because they're not punishing you. But if you see that they're not punishing you, you can do that all day as much as you like. But what if you come up across somebody who is intelligent? What do we do then when we fight somebody that's intelligent? Well, I'll tell you, this is going to be the way on how you approach, right? You're going to float in. Key. Lock down. Trying to move to the side. Go in. You're not going to shoot keys too much because key is going to deplete your key guard. You're just going to do 1 or 2 every now and then to try to get in. And when you get in, you could come in any kind of way you want. Once you get into the point to where your character is in battle range, melee range, and you can tell you're in melee range because once you're in melee range, you start moving slower. You can't do certain things. You can't just fly around the map either way. Once you're here, there's so many opportunities of things for you to do. So many opportunities of ways to get in, for you to move around and lock in. Now, one of my favorite things to do that you guys should pay attention to is this right here. Once you sweep them, grab them. You get to change up so much because a lot of people on the ground can either explosive wave you, they can Z counter out. You cancel that early by getting guaranteed damage, right? Guaranteed damage is boom, boom, and this is guaranteed right here. Majority of the cast is not dodging that last hit because it's so fast, it's so hard to preemptively be ready for it. And even if they dodge it, you're still safe. They're not going to be able to punish you. So you're still going to be good on that regards going over it. So if you're playing Broly or whatever character you're playing, make sure you learn your combo extenders. Make sure you learn your combo extenders when you go in. You make sure to set up on how you're going to go through it. Make sure to do your follow-ups, by the way. Your follow-ups right here, you lock in with those. And then you're going to be a better player with advancing combos, with moving forward and changing the trajectory on how you play. So remember, don't just mash square, switch it up. Turn the character around. Go into the full combo. Launch them. Drop them. Once they're on the ground, do what you want with them. Point to them saying, I'm going to get you. All right? All of that you can really set up and lock in for yourself to really get out of the way quicker as a player. And you yourself then start becoming a player because you know how to extend a lot more. And you become a lot better. All right? I hope that was helpful. Was that helpful, chat? Was that a little helpful for you guys? Let me know. I'm going to get you. It's crazy. Very okay, cool. W. All right. Okay. Is that a question? Heck yeah. all right, cool. We'll go over some more stuff though. I'm glad. Also, if you guys are on YouTube and you guys are not following over here on Twitch, you know, Twitch link should be in the description or the comment section, one of the two. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right, so for this part of the video, I had a really great question when they ask, Rio, how do you go into special moves and doing the follow-ups, how to do it smoothly, right? So the main thing you're going to want to do when you're fighting, I see a lot of people that try to rush out their moves. Don't just throw your moves out there. It's very important. You got to learn how to conserve your ki, because you're going to need your ki all through the fight. So if you burn through it by just trying to do a super move, you're going to completely get washed, because I'm going to rush you, and you're going to have people like me or other demons out there that's going to be rushing you when they know you have no ki. If you want a guaranteed chance, not guaranteed, but a high 90% chance that most people aren't going to be teleporting out of, you want to do certain sequences on how to get your move off, which is going to be this. After a grab, you go straight into it. Very important, though, that you guys notice. After a grab, don't just do the move right away, because after the cutscene, it's going to be easier to teleport out of and dodge the move. Let the grab linger and then go into it. And then you get a guaranteed one there, right? Another guaranteed one. After a launch, after their body hits the ground, wait till they hit the ground, because the double bounce on the ground is a hard knockdown. If you guys don't know what a hard knockdown is, that's the terminology from like all other aspects of fighting games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken, different things like that. When you do a hard knockdown, means that they're not going to be able to recover and get out of it. So that right there is going to be a guaranteed way on how to get out of it. Another thing that you can do is this shenanigans right here. That's the grab, but go for the heavy knockdown right here. His face is planted in the ground. Finish up. Okay, Broly's just a little bit stupid. You can tell he can't read, but just trust me, depending on the character, you'll get it right there, right? Now, the next thing that you could go into is going to be this right here. Wait till the character's falling, depending on the setup, and you completely go into this. As you can see, it still continues to hit because it is still a full combo, and you're locked in right there. So depending on how you're using these characters, these are some of the most essential ways to follow up with doing super moves and confirming them, rather than just throwing it out there blindly, hoping that you get a hit, okay? Now, one thing that's important is that if you see somebody powering up to spark and you can't stop them, you should always shoot a ki blast to try to stop them. But if you not and you want to end them, you see this animation right there? That animation where Broly's doing this? Okay, that animation. On that animation, as soon as they do that, if you time it as soon as they're gonna hit sparking activation, you can literally shoot and they can't do anything to get out, because it's an animation lock. There's a few moves on here that has animation locks that's gonna be able to kind of like lock you into certain things for you to not to be able to get out. You're jailed just because it's the type of move that it is. It's just a programmed move. There's nobody that can tell you. There's nobody that plays Sparking Zero that can tell you, oh bro, to get out of this move you can do XYZ. It is a developer implanted thing into the game. It is how the game is designed, meaning it's an animation that is unbreakable, unwavering, no way for you to get out of it. Every character has to go through that. So if you know those sequences and those timings, you can actually punish most people. Another sequence of that you're going to see at high level play is going to be this right here. You're probably thinking, well, Rio, what is it? I just showed you. I just showed you. Very important for you to understand, at high level play, depending on the distance between you and your opponent, if you see someone charge, that's at charging in someone's vicinity is something that people do at lower levels because they don't know any better. They think that they're going to be able to block right after, but there's an animation that you really can't get by in those levels of charging. I have to turn this off. Let me turn this off for you so you guys can see it. So if you go here, turn off the ki, and then I shoot this out, lower my ki. Now I'm going to charge. Right there, right? That moment to where Broly relaxes and loses the aura is a moment to where if you time it with your dragon homing dash, you can get behind them before they're able to turn and get on the character. Those are certain tactics that you can use to really lock in and gravitate to locking down your opponent just because they're making little mishaps. That's why you see at high level, people choose when they pop it. You got to get this off, get this going a little bit, stop it, get it going, because there's an animation lock right there for that to hold you, okay? So you're going to have to be able to pay attention to that. I hope that helps. You feel me? Just so you know.